right? So this space is for self-development. But how many of you know that you cannot have self-development without a strong mental fitness? Because life happens, things happen, and you will go through things. But in this space, we teach you how to grow through it. And nature has lots of lessons to teach us, right? And I'm going to touch upon some of them today. For those of you who will join me live, please put in the chat, interact with me. I love that you're here. For those of you who would watch this on the replay, make sure that you're engaging as well and talk to us. Talk to me. We want to celebrate with you. We want to shout you out, and we want to come alongside you and just make sure that you're getting all the love that you need in the space, and that you're growing and that you are stretching. So as we think about nature, last week, before I jump into that, last week we looked at self-love, celebrating you. That's inside, inward. So this week we're going to look at something outward, something outside of ourselves that's available to us to also help us to grow and not just be, help us to become our better selves. So as we look outside, many of you know that I am a nature enthusiast. Yeah, I love nature. I'm always being by the water. I'm always outside with the trees, outside hiking and doing something in nature. And how many of you know that nature is there to teach us so much? Right? Sometimes people think about going in a classroom for learning, but I want to share with you today a few things that there's a lot of lesson in the classroom of nature. Studies have shown that just a few minutes out in nature reduces your stress, it helps you with your mood, and it also boosts your creativity. And just knowing that, I want to just draw your attention to a few things in nature that you can learn from if you slow things down enough to really look closer. For example, the ants. Yeah. How many of you have gone outside for a picnic and you're sitting there and the ants is crawling over your picnic blanket or coming to pick up the crumbs nearby? I had the privilege of watching an ant some time ago, and it was moving a piece of bread. And it was struggling, y'all. I'm watching this ant pull this piece of bread, and it was struggling. And I don't know if there's an ant language, and I don't know if it whistled, and I don't know if it made a phone call. But whatever that ant did, all of a sudden, a group of ants came out and was helping this one ant with this piece of bread. Now, what I'm learning from that, hi Des, welcome. What I'm learning from that is we can learn from the ants about partnership. Yeah, about partnership and community. Here is this one ant struggling to lift this piece of bread. The ant knew it couldn't carry it by itself. So it paused and reached out for help. What help do you need to reach for today? What help do you need to help things to move along better, faster, with more impact? So that's just the ant. Let me take you a little closer to the caterpillar. All of us love to watch the butterfly just glide along the sky. And we're talking about lessons in nature, the classroom of nature that's teaching us so much. Let's get outside of ourselves and look outside and see all the lessons that's available to us in nature that we can apply to our lives. So coming back to the caterpillar was willing to go through the pain and darkness of the metamorphosis process to become a beautiful butterfly. This beautiful butterfly, you and I admire and look at, and we watch it just glide, I should say, across the sky, across the space. And the lesson that I learned from the butterfly, when I slow things down enough, is to recognize I'm creating a mindful moment. A moment with nature where this caterpillar went through the pain and didn't stop in the process, went through the darkness and become beauty. And to show me and to show you, there is beauty on the inside of you if you slow down enough to go through it. Not just go through it, but to grow through it. Grow through the process of pain. Anytime pain show up in your life, I want you to know, and I want you to understand and believe and lean in and realize pain came to teach you something. Share with us. Is there something painful that you went through, but in the moment you didn't see it as anything good, but in hindsight, when you pause to reflect, you can see the beauty of what came from that pain. So the butterfly reminds me of that. It reminds me that we have to be willing to go through the hard places in life in order to receive and expand and to enjoy the beauty of what's available in the butterfly. The other thing from nature that we can learn from is the squirrel. When I observe squirrels, one of the things I notice about them, they're always preparation. They will take an acorn seed and they would hide it, and they will go back to it later, and sometimes they even forget that it's there and it will grow. The reality is that nature is a classroom and is teaching us something. So I'm bringing this to your attention today to know that you should no longer just go through life, but pause and see what are the lessons available. When you go outside in a mindful space and you pause and you take a look at the sky, you can see the clouds moving. You can hear the birds chirping. That's part of your well-being. It helps you to be mindful, to know that you're part of something bigger. Hi, Marla. To help you to know that you're part of something better and something bigger. When I was living down in Florida, Marla, you can remember we used to hang out. We used to go to the beach. And the water, the body of water ignite me, y'all. I love the beach. I love the space where there's a large body of water. And I'm no longer in Florida. I'm in Georgia. And God knew that I needed a space to go, to sit, to be present with him, and to get my downloads and to get clarity about my next move, my life. What do I talk to you about? So since I no longer have the beach where I used to go and just listen to the roar of the beach and look out, way out in the deep and see the calmness and draw from nature and watch the little seagulls with their feet pitter-patter running from the waves, just dancing with the waves and just being mindful and present, I now go to the river, y'all. I'm nearby a river where I live in a waterfall. And it's just a few minutes away. When I'm having an overwhelming moment and I need to get into the space where I need to get my thoughts together, I go to the river. And I take off my shoes, y'all, and I stick my feet in the water. And sometimes it's so cold, but I love the sensation. It brings my attention to my present. To sit and to get grounded in the water. Put my bare feet in the water, in the river. And listening to the babbling brooks nearby as the water comes down the hill, as it goes under the rock. There are lots of lessons in nature. I get my greatest downloads, my greatest peace, my greatest calm, my greatest joy moments in nature. Nature is a space that's afforded to us by the designer or creator, your designer, your creator, and mine. Why lose the lessons? Lessons are available in the space of nature. And I tell you, each and every day I look to the ants, the squirrel, the caterpillar, and the river, and so much more in nature to draw attention to the things I need to grow. So here's 3 points that I want you to take away and remember about things that you can do in nature, and 3 ways to connect in nature. Number 1, decide that you will be present in nature. Be present, because it's in your presence in nature that you're more mindful, that you're able to listen and feel the breeze on your skin. Listen to the birds. Be calm, get centered, and let go of overwhelm. So that's number 1. Number 2, create a nature space. This can be in your home, in your apartment, in your home, in a corner somewhere where you have live plants. Where there's plants that's cleaning your giving you good oxygen, cleaning your air in your home. Create a space. Or maybe you have a flower garden on your porch, or a veggie garden, or a herb garden on your porch. Something you can go to remind you that how important it is to watch nature because of all the lessons. And the third thing is to unplug. When I say unplug, unplug from the devices that you have, your cell phone, your laptop, your iPad, and all the other things that distract us and pull us in, and we waste time scrolling and scrolling. Do this one thing this week, maybe today. Leave your device at home and go outside for 15 minutes. This is what I call device-free 15 minutes. And in this 15 minutes, just be present with where you are. Just be present in nature. I know that you can get the downloads. You can let go of overwhelm if you give yourself 15 minutes. I was having a conversation with a client last Friday. And she got a breakthrough. She had an aha moment. And she said, you know, Coach, all these things that we're talking about right now is really helping me to grow my roots deeper. And I said, tell me more. And as she was explaining, she said, I'm growing through the coaching that you're giving me, and we're working together on unpacking these challenges that I'm facing. I'm learning to reframe my experiences. I'm learning to see things differently. I'm learning to look through different lenses. She said, not only am I growing my roots to be firmer, because here's the thing. She works in an environment where it's dominated by men. Mostly men is in this industry. It's about buildings and safety. And she's a short little itty bitty woman, 5 feet tall like myself. But I reminded her of the power within us. And she got it. She got it, and she resonated with it. So she was sharing about growing her roots so she can stand stronger in the space when the masculine voice tend to be so loud and overpowering, so that she can speak and share her points and be present with her thoughts and know that she had value at the table. And as she talked about her growth, going up, speaking up, managing up, she's also present to the fact that she's growing roots. So I transitioned to draw a parallel to while I was in Florida. I noticed during hurricane season, the palm tree, and this is a plug for the opportunity for you to learn from nature to be resilient. So as I watched the palm tree from a distance, as the wind blows, the palm tree will go to the left and come back up. The palm tree will go to the right and come back up. It will bend. It would bow, but it wouldn't break. It wouldn't break. Marla, you can remember, it would not break. And that's a lesson in itself in nature that we can learn from. If you are rooted firmly in who you are, what you believe, your purpose, what you know you're here for, in the thing that you're doing, the business you're running, the organization that you're over, the children that God has given you to govern for a season. If you are grounded in that space as to who you are and what you're here to do, your time of service, how you show up, you're grounded in the fact that this space that I am, I belong. I need to be in this space. I was called to this space. You know your value in the space, just like that palm tree. That palm tree is teaching us that no matter what comes, we may bow to the right, we may bend to the left, but we pop back up through resilience. Resilience is available to you by learning from nature, by learning from the ants, that if you struggle, you reach out for partnership through this space to connect with your coach, myself, to help you to see things differently, to help you to see the glass half full, not because you're being positive, not because that's the way to go, but to realize you hold on to what you have until you get more. Realizing that nature teaches to reach for our community. Realize that nature teaches us that as we look at the squirrels, we need to prepare. We need to do the things so that we can be stronger, bolder, and better up down the road. If this is resonating with you, put something in the chat. Share with us. How are you utilizing nature? How are you learning from nature? What are the things that's nature teaching you? So as I part ways and say goodbye to you today, I want to hear from you. I want to know if this is serving you. I want to know, has this inspired you? What did you take from this? And just to recap, we learn a lot from nature. We get joy and peace in nature. We can learn a lot because it's available to us. Our master designer created the space of nature, not just as a beautiful scenery, not just for us to observe and keep going, but for us to pause. And that's the topic for next week. The power of pause. The power of pause. So I would love for you to join me here next week, and let's dive into it and realize that each week that we come to this space is to get information to make us stronger, bolder, better, to build us in our mind so that we can be fit, we can be mentally fit, we can develop ourselves, and we can go out there and deal with life the best way, and the best version of ourselves can come through. If you're a parent, the best version of yourself being a parent in this season. If you're leading an organization, if you're over a community project, if you are the project manager, if you are leading a group of people, if you're a people leader, whoever you are, whatever season you're in, whatever it is you're doing, allow nature today, this week, to reassure you of the lessons that's available that can help you to stand stronger, to be bolder, and to show up confidently.